New decrees, new decrees. Lenin wants to inspire with new decrees. He's singing revolutionary words with new decrees. Okay, hello, we're back for another chat with T-Rye. This time we're talking about the new decrees. It's another one take wonder, no editing, just all the things. Okie dokie. So the early decrees of Narkom had two significant aims. One was to continue to consolidate power, to consolidate authority, ensure that the Bolsheviks remained in power. And the second one was to inspire popular participation in the revolutionary process. The other element too, which fits in with both of these, is the way in which they were perceived by ordinary people, that the provisional government had been portrayed as a government of all talk by the Bolsheviks, by Lenin in particular, whereas the Sovnarkom was wanting to be seen as a government of action, and explicitly Lenin spoke about that. Now, Robert Service says something rather wise as a historian. He says about the new decrees that they were designed to inspire, to excite, and to instigate. So consider each of those aspects of that. So this idea of inspiring, exciting, popular participation, but also to instigate means to lead to action. And Lenin was very explicit that the new regime would do new things. He said stuff like, yes, we should destroy everything, and on the ruins we shall build our temple. We'll overturn Russia. And they're pretty serious in that regard too, because really good little short, sharp fact that this was a government of action. For within the first couple of months, Sovnarkom passed more than 116 new decrees on a whole range of areas. Some of the more significant ones were the decree on land, and that was passed in the midst of the October Revolution, and that formalised the seizure of power, the seizure of land by peasants. So it gave a legal endorsement to the revolution in the countryside. The decree on press suppressed the bourgeois newspapers, such as those by the cadets. Workers' control decree authorised workers to be able to have supervision over their workplaces. Minorities were given rights, so the decree on national self-determination, so that was really drawing on some of the issues that had emerged with the Tsarist and provisional government, this call for autonomy by the Poles, the Ukrainians and Finns, and giving sanction to that. Many new decrees impacted on areas of everyday life. So the justice system, so regular courts were replaced by people's courts. These weren't overseen by regular judges, who had law degrees. This was ordinary proletarian people who passed judgment based on their revolutionary consciousness. A whole bunch of decrees focused on women's rights, such as making marriage a civil affair. So you didn't have to go to the priest anymore to get a divorce or a marriage in that regard. Equal ownership of land and property rights was passed by some new decrees. Economic decrees, so all banks and stock companies, financial institutions were nationalised. That means the government took control of those. All foreign debts were annulled. That means that Soviet Russia said, we ain't paying anything that we borrowed from you anymore, and that quite antagonised the British and the French governments. Also, you can remember that image from the October Revolution of Lenin holding a decree, and one of those was the decree on land, I've already mentioned. The other one was the decree on peace. So this revolutionary government, was explicit in seeking out a peace agreement with Germany, acting on those slogans of peace. Bread's tricky, but peace and land, certainly. The armed forces were democratised, so that means they removed ranks. And a little bit of a Marty McFly time travel thing went on where the calendar was amended. So where Russia had been 2 weeks behind the rest of the world because it had previously used the Julian calendar, the Gregorian calendar was adopted on the 1st of February. That meant that on the 1st of February, Russia fast-forwarded 14 days into the future. That's a very modern thing to do, isn't it? So with each of the new decrees, have a careful read through those significant details. Note the people who are impacted, the areas of life that they impact, any consequences that come from those. Consider also to the values, the revolutionary ideas are behind them, and that idea of that model of how the new decrees were about consolidating power, but also encouraging popular participation in the revolution. Until next time, das vidanya. Stay fully sick or not sick.